Hello, hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, Aaron.
Hello.
Hello. Today we have a workshop. Aaron, can you go to the next slide, please? Today we have an awesome workshop together with Aaron from C Labs. We're gonna build a front end for your smart contract using react-celo, and for that, Aaron, who is the person at C Labs that manage that repo react-celo, we're gonna explain us what is react-celo, what's the reasoning behind it, how to use it, how to integrate it with your front end, and yeah, that's gonna be amazing. Thank you so much, Aaron. And you can kick it off from here.
Hey, yeah, thank you very much, Nestor. Yeah, so as has been said, so today the goal is really to gain an understanding of how this package, Celo's React Celo package, connects wallets to your dApp. So let's start off, and this is kind of like what we're going to be going over: setting it up, connecting, actually doing things with it. So connecting to smart contracts, um, yeah, basically doing transactions, transfers, and then some of the customization features it has um, that allow you to kind of make it fit into your dApp a little bit more. Okay. So we're going to start off. Most of this talk is going to be a lot of like slides and like code examples that I'm going to kind of go through line by line. But this here is the basic setup um, for using this package. If you've used React, if you've used React with context or hooks, it's going to be pretty familiar. But basically, you have this Celo provider, which you import from the package. And then you want to wrap everything in your app, you want to wrap with this provider. So your all the components that you have should be in some sort of base component. This gets wrapped around and then exported out to be the basis for everything. And the only really thing required prop it has is this dApp prop. Has a few properties, but as we'll see at the end of the talk, there's a lot more you can do there, such as putting in which chains you support and what the default one is, and a few more things. So we'll get into that in a bit. Okay, so let's say you have your dApp and you want to connect a wallet to that. So for that, you're going to need to create a connect button. And so this is sort of like a very basic idea of how that could look. You'll use the use Celo hook. Again, this is a hook, so it relies on context that's given by the provider that we set up before. So this will have to be inside of that component tree. And there you get your connect, your address, and destroy. And as you can see there, we are using the address to determine if we're connected or not. If we're not connected, it's going to disconnect. If we are connected, it will connect. And then put that button somewhere, maybe in a navigation with some other things. You know, you probably have more styles in this, but that's the basics so we don't get confused. And yeah, okay. Well, I forgot that I had a slide here to go over that in more detail. So once again, just sort of going line by line here. This is how we kind of get that all going. And the end result on the next slide is this. So this here is what's going to happen when you hit that connect button, right? You're here, you press connect, this will open up, and this is what allows the user to select which wallet or signer they want to connect with. So these are some of the ones we have pre-configured: Coinbase wallet, MetaMask, Valora, pretty popular, Ledger, very secure. Going through, you can do some, we'll get into in a bit how you can customize this modal. Okay, so you're connected, you're on there, you have access to the user's balance and things, but you want them to actually do things. You want to interact with your smart contracts. So let's go through this. So you're going to come up with some code that looks something like this, and let's go through this to show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so you start here, first line, you have your action, you're going to create some sort of component. Okay, and so here you're using the react-celo hook, same import as before, but now we're getting from the object, we're going to destructure the perform actions, and for this example, we'll use your address. Probably we'll use that for most of them. Okay, so we're going to be creating a function here, a callback function, and perform actions is basically a way to call long-running anything that you need to authorize, like in your wallet. It's good to use this for because it provides a little modal that comes up that shows you like what you're waiting on and has a little spinner. And so that's a great way to let users know, hey, like go look at your wallet. Like if they're using some wallets like MetaMask will pop up. But if you're on your phone, let's say you're using like a Omni wallet or Valora or Node wallet, those wallets, you have to go to your phone to see what's going on. Same with your ledger, you'll have to actually go to your ledger, obviously. So let's say we're gonna transfer CUSD, and these are just examples I use just so you get an idea. One of them uses the mini kit that we have, contract kit, to get the stable CSD stable token contract, and then just perform a little transfer to some receiver address and a very small amount of CUSD. And then we'll be sending it, waiting for the receipt, right? So that uses sort of the, like it uses the contracts that have like, that come with the, with Celo, kind of like some of the core contracts. Let's say you have your own contract you created and you want to use that. In that case, you can use this here, which is you go through and get into the Web3 ETH contract. And then if you have like a constant called ABI, you'll probably call it the ABI of your contract. You can pass that in just like you would if you're using Web3 anywhere else. And then go through and call that method. This one is a contract, actually, the store from the Celo Composer, which Nestor knows more about. And so it basically just to do an example of, you can store text in a contract. Do you need to do that all the time? Maybe not, but just a little example of something you could do. You were sending it here, and then that's there. So we've created these two functions, and what we're going to do is we're going to, inside of this transfer and store function, we're going to call perform actions, passing in this transfer and then this other one, and then that's just, this here is just, if you're not familiar with React hooks, use callback gets two parameters, a function. Everything here inside here is one function, and then it takes an array of this perform actions and address. So basically anything that could change that's received input, they're sort of given in there as like a caching mechanism. If those change, then the whole function gets rewritten in the background. And so at the end, now, would you actually have one button that clicks and then transfers to USD and then stores in a contract? Probably not. But you could have a function that, let's say, like approves using a contract for your ERC20 token, and then immediately has that ERC20 token actually use your token, which is what, instead of having to have click twice, button changes, click again, you just click once in the UI, and then your wallet just has to approve twice. So it's one last step that could happen there. Okay, so then you've done this, they clicked on it, they click on perform actions, and then this is what pops up, right? You have your dialog box. If you're using MetaMask, for instance, MetaMask would pop up with something like this. And then you'll click confirm, and once you click confirm, the dialog will go away. Okay, so that's sort of like the basics of it, but you can do a few more So we'll get into that a little bit. So here, if you've used TypeScript before, this route library is written in TypeScript. So this is a TypeScript interface that just describes the props for the Celo provider. So going through, we have our DAP, your default network, networks. So this is like an array that contains a chain ID, network name, RPC URL. And so you can, if you want, you can, by default, it defaults to the Celo mainnet. But if you wanted to default to a different network, you could, or say, hey, I want to support Polygon or Arbitrum or some other EVM network, you could pass those networks in here and then say, hey, I want this to default to whatever network name you have. We also do theming. By default, you can do dark mode very easily by just passing it, by just setting a tailwind dark class on your your body. But you can also pass in any theme that you want. But the main thing I'm going to be going over today is our Connect Modal options and our Action Modal options. So the two modals that we've seen, there are some customizations that could be useful for your users and use case. So let us go through that. Okay, so here's the Connect Modal. On the left is the default look. On the right is some customizations. You'll see that instead of saying connected wallet, it says signers. You can adjust that text. And also there's only one wallet there, Node Wallet, which is not included in the defaults right now. So the other customization is a dark mode, which I don't have a screenshot of, but it exists. Okay, so let's say we're going to customize the Connect Modal. This is a bit of a text wall here, but bear with me. So you know your Connect Modal prop on the Celo provider, and we're going to go through. There's the title signers we talked about, provider options. So there's a few options here. Let's say it's not searchable. By default, there's a little search box that's on the bottom on desktop and on the top on mobile that lets you search through providers with text. So sometimes it's a little faster than scrolling through the list. But we're going to turn it off here. We're also going to hide all the defaults. So in this case, nothing would show. It's just nothing's there at all. But instead, we're going to add an additional wallet. So these wallets will be WC here stands for Wallet Connect. So ones that connect through Wallet Connect. And so we give it a name, a few options, short name. These are all the standard Wallet Connect options. Description, which will be used, what chains it's used on. This is important. Homepage for it, some IDs. Version. The version there is for the Wallet Connect version. It needs to always be just one. And then your logo. In this example, I use the same logo in all the places. But this is just a logo that's actually shown in that little example there. So then if you set up this, then you get what we saw before, this sort of example here, where you only have your signers. It's just Node Wallet. You could also do not hide from defaults, but you could just add an additional wallet and it would show up in the list. So that could be helpful. This is also helpful if, let's say, you're with users who aren't going to be, maybe you're targeting people and you're like, oh, they're not going to be using Ledger, or they're not going to be using this wallet, and we want to clean up the list a little bit. Instead of hiding from defaults true, you can pass in an array of IDs, of wallet names, and that will allow you to hide those. So that's pretty cool. So let's keep going here. Let's say we want to customize the action modal. So on the top right, you'll see what the default looks like. But let's say you're like, I have my own styles. I care a lot about having consistent design throughout my application. Well, in that case, you can pass in to the action modal a custom render function, which will allow you to create, have it look however you want. As long as you can use your DAP name, you can use how many actions are happening, you can provide it, and then you're also provided with the theme that that either it's the default one or the one that you gave to the provider at the beginning. So In this case, the theme what I've come up here is not the best look, but it would look something with those attributes, something like this. So just an example of how you can really make it look like however you want if you choose. Um, and let's go, and that's it. That's the whole talk. We're open for some Q&A here if wanted. And now I'm the only one on screen. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
hopefully everyone enjoyed that.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. I think that yeah, you cover all pretty much all the explanation about react-celo, how why it exists, how to integrate it, and how it works in the inside. And yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Things to mention will be, as you may know, we are doing a hackathon right now, and this is the frame on this hackathon. So if you have not joined or applied, you can do it by going to this link that you can see in the bottom of the screen, buildwithsela.hackerearth.com, and you will find all the information related to apply for the hackathon. There are gonna be some faces, and yeah, go to the website. Another thing will be usage. So Aaron just explained the react-celo, and as you may know, you might be wondering like, okay, so now how can I start? So there is a way, and there's a way just to see how it works with Celo Composer. Celo Composer is a template that we have built at Celo to make your life as developer easier. Why? Because it's going to contain a couple of packages that are going to contain different projects that you can uh, remove the ones that you are not going to be using. But we have plenty of examples. We have Angular app, a Flutter app, Hard Hat, of course, the one that you will need if you're going to deal with smart contract. Then a React application, React Native, you name it. And the interesting thing, and why I'm mentioning this, is because React app is using um, react-celo, the one that Aaron just explained. And you might wonder also, okay, but how it looks once I install Cell Composer. So it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like this, and it's gonna have four tabs for reading information for the account, a simple greeter, uh, a storage, a support token that's an ERC20. So pretty much we wanted to cover some simple examples in how you're gonna use react-celo in a website. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, and I think yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. Um, I don't know any final suggestion for people, to join the hackathon and to I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, maybe do you want to put that Q&A, the slides back up? Because
Yep.
we have that great ending
Right
slide
now.
there. Yeah, so we have the Celo devs Twitter, um, and then if you want to talk more about React Celo, there is chat.celo.org, and which is a Discord, and then the React Celo channel, and then of course this hackathon, buildwithcelo.hackerearth.com. Hopefully all of you are already there.
All right. Awesome. Well, I think that will be all. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your time. Thank you for your explanation. Very good one. And yeah, thank you so much.
Obrigado.
All right. Goodbye.